last minute, end of the day kind of little broadcast. It is all about. I don't have my glasses. Give me a minute. Looking at the clock on my Chromebook. It is 23:43 right now. Still a Friday, 21 November 2025. And so we're talking a little bit about agency, uh, short form definition, the ability to affect a change or select a course of action or to make decisions based purely upon your own subjective interpretations or objective gathering of data around you. In other words, your free will. That's just a fancy way of saying your free will. Um, and talking about this only because my kids came to me and said, you know, hey, Dad, check this out. Bob Iger is exploring the idea of offering Disney Plus subscribers the opportunity to create their own short form content using Disney IPs, Disney owned IPs, which is kind of like weird because Disney pretty much owns like almost what 3/5 of the market right now when it comes to franchises and intellectual properties in general. But it brings about a point that they're offering a toolbox for people to make fanfics. Basically, is what it is, and I don't really find that to be a problem because in the past, when people have made fan fictions, a lot of the times, apart from just taking the intellectual property that they're basing their fan fiction in, uh, and the characters, obviously, and all that stuff. Um, and not all of it's always, not all of it is very good, but dissemination of that fan fiction was typically by message boards on the internet. Uh, my eldest was very active on several of these boards, and honestly, I consider her to be quite a nice, well skilled author. And I've often encouraged her to, take her ideas and, produce something with them, something that, she could be happy with. But not everybody has that creative spark. And this is where I'm talking about um, historical instances as well. Like when photography first came around, a lot of portrait artists really felt threatened. And it was like, they're going to take our jobs away. They're going to diminish the art form of the portrait. But instead, as we have seen over the 100 years or so since photography's been in play, that it actually elevated the art form. What it is just another tool. It's providing a person who does not have the expertise or the knowledge base a gateway into exploring whether or not this is something they really want to do. Now, just as with photography and then later, digital painting tools like Photoshop and MS Paint, you can have a person who is unskilled and then relying upon the tool as its crutch. And honestly, as an artist myself, I can see it, and even before I became a very active, creator or maker, I could still see, I can still see through the results and find where the tool was used or where the tool was leaned upon more than it probably needed to be. Um, and again, it comes down to what the market will consume, not necessarily what the market will bear. A lot of people talk about, finances as, well, we're going to charge what the market will bear. But really, honestly, it's really what the market's willing to consume, not what they're willing to pay for. Because if they're willing to consume everything they see out there, just mindlessly, doom scrolling, oh, that's a skeleton, right? Oh, man, yes, as a challenger has arrived. You know what? Fuck yeah. Let's do this. Whoops, no, I need a tool. I need a weapon. Um, you can't really fault a person for wanting to participate in this area of expression because it really is. It's just another form of expression. So it's a weird line I walk along when it comes to AI and what what it's being used for and how it's Did he blow up or not? Give me a second here. I'm gonna play with these guys a little bit. Oh, he jacked up the fucking landscape. Good times. Um, let's go find another beastie to beat up on. Where's that skeleton? I want those bones. I'm gonna go find myself a puppy. Um, so I think it's not so much the fact that AI is there any more than photography or digital painting tools uh, or fabricators like 3D printers and stuff like that. I don't think that's any more of a diminishing of the art form than say instant cake mix could be of cake baking. You know, there are ways you can go completely scratch. You can go scratch build. It's totally fine. Or you can rely upon an existing form or model, or you can turn to a tool like digital painting to optimize your painting efforts so that you're not, consuming paint and water, or well, actually, you're not consuming medium and solvent and all this other fun stuff. With digital painting, you're canvas free basically, and the only thing that you're expending is time. And if you have the time, then hopefully you will also not just clip art your way through, a catalog of um, images and, then try to claim them as your own. That's where it gets sticky, is when you start to uh, say, oh, well, just because I grabbed all these different items and now I put it all together and splashed some special effects on it, and now it's all mine. Um, it's not really how that works out. It's just a random zombie, and he didn't drop a disc. Come on, guy. I don't do a shield. I should make a shield. Really, I should. Um, and then you think about things like collage. You know, is collage? You know, is a collage artist allowed to make claims that this is their original work, even though they're taking literally elements that other people have fabricated and maybe even have sold? Um, like if I go into a thrift store and I buy, say, a half a dozen postcards and prints and other items, and then take it home and chop it all up and then slap it together on a board and then say collage. This is my original work and I own the copyright. The yada yada yada. Wait, did he drop an unbroken bow? What the fuck? Excuse me. Um, yeah, that is a Unbreaking One fresh enchanted bow. Woohoo! I'm excited. Um, so you have that agency, you have the choice at the time, at the threshold of using a tool like AI. You make the choices, and it's not just what and the prompts you pick out. It's how you present the pieces as well. Are you going to be honest and forthcoming about, I used AI to make this, and I mean, enough of us now out there who have been watching the scene can actually tell when they're looking at AI, whether it's a static image or it's a moving frame. You can tell. You can see the telltales, the artifacts that are left behind. Just like with digital painting, you can tell the difference between a digital work and one that was actually done by hand on paper and then scanned in and then special effects added to. I mean, not everyone's going to want to even care. Um, Earlier, had a discussion with my son about Halo in general because we are excited about the campaign Evolved game coming out, and one of the things that both he and I agreed on when it comes to the franchise is that um, the studio relied way too much on books to fill in the narrative gaps between the games so that you had an understanding of what the game was presenting to you and why it was relevant, why it mattered. Um, I personally have always been the type that, whatever media I am engaging with, all the information I should need to have on hand for that environment should be presented in the media that I am engaging with. Like for instance in Minecraft, there's no direct narrative when you land on the Minecraft world. You spawn in. Um, I always have the little backstory that I'm a explorer, and I am here exploring, and I am you know discovering things about myself, about the world I'm exploring, about the cultures and peoples here, making it up as I go along, even. Um, or like when I was in Minecraft, you're given a narrative background for your character, caught in a Imperial um, dragnet, looking for Ulfric Stormcloak of Winterfell, who had used the voice uh, to basically kill what he called the Usurper Emperor, the Usurper King of Skyrim. That's the difference, but you still get the choices to go where you want to go and to make your character what it is. And you could be a good person or a bad person in the game. And there are some parts in the game, some choices in Skyrim that really do kind of back you into a corner. There's no right or wrong choice. It's just what's going to be what will what settles on your conscience the least, about it. Are you going to bear the burden of having allowed, an individual to escape and they later are the whole reason why an entire village is wiped out. I don't think there's anything drastic like that in the game. It's been a decade at least since I last played Skyrim, so not true. I did load up the game and play the initial chapter a little while ago and was like, I'm beyond it. I'm past it. It was fun when it was, but I have those memories. That's enough. Um, but yeah, it's kind of like when I play a game. Um, I come to it like a puzzle. Is there a backstory for the Rubik's Cube? Is there a narrative behind the Rubik's Cube? Well, yeah, the creation of the Rubik's Cube has its story. It has um, its provenance, to use an art world term, when it comes to outlining the background of a piece. I'm going to lay some temporary blocks down just to kind of get a shape of what I want. I don't know if I'll use all of these, but we'll take them out there. Um, so yeah, use AI, use it for the tool that it is, a way for you to explore some kind of creative expression that you wouldn't have the facilities or the capabilities to do otherwise. I feel very fortunate that I have the space to create, and I feel very fortunate that I have the education to pursue that creation. Um, and and the outlets to express them. So a lot of people won't have that. So AI Disney Plus, yeah, okay, fine, whatever. But again, you're going to have the agency, you're going to have the choice to make as to whether or not you're going to be exploitative, abusive, or cooperative, and ultimately elevate the format such that it brings more people into the hobby because it'll be a hobby. You won't own anything. You're going to be doing it for the love of the expression, and that's pretty much what you have to accept. So it'd be interesting to see how it all transpires. Um, yeah, let's see. I want more than just a box, basically. So we have one, two, three, four, five. So we can put a few beds in here. I'm trying to develop something that's more than just the box, and yet at the same time will provide the necessary um, structure for the village itself. I got 10 villagers in there, and I want to grow it to 30. So making, like, say, we're going to have a crafter's hall and we're a maker's hall, and we're going to have the barracks. And I think I might do 2 stories for the barracks, but we're not going to worry too much about this landscape right now. We'll do all the landscaping later. Right now, I just kind of want a blueprint of something. I tried to do this. I made a creative copy of this world to kind of try and map out what I want to do here, um, but I was not having any success. But right now, I just need to get a bird's eye view, a broader picture of the goals here. I think that would be enough space because I wanted a small area. That's interesting. I think that looks good. They've got some opportunities here. Um, that little corner back there where the cat is, that'll probably be some kind of a garden about this big, maybe. And I would probably make this be the living areas, or maybe upstairs, kind of like a tavern, I think. Downstairs will definitely be the crafters area. So I think we need a station for every villager, otherwise we're going to get a ton of nitwits, and that would just be sad. Um, and I'm not too positive about how I want to actually float this. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We could do 10 beds here. Yeah, I guess this will be a good start. Let's start with this. We used up a good chunk of the dirt that we have. I keep all the dirt now because we have so many creepers in the game. It's just going to keep coming and coming and coming. I'm going to use slabs and to start with, and I'm going to probably need to have my axe with me because I don't want to have this crafting station floating. I'll take a stack just because I didn't do the math in my head, but I think I'm going to need about 2 stacks of slabs. And of course, we're going to have to engage with kitty cats. Um, I am definitely going to I think I'm going to put the beds up high. I don't want the beds on the ground floor because that would be too many mobs to deal with. And again, I don't think villagers will breed when there's monsters nearby. If they feel they're threatened, they won't go for it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 10, and then we have one, two, so 100. So yeah, so probably like 2 stacks. Basically, this whole block here will be nothing but slabs because I'll have to make a roof as well. So we're gonna do that, and then yeah. So yeah, making choices. That's really the crux of good gameplay, and also making in general, creating in general. What is creative versus what is just copy paste. So when you're thinking about the tools that you use for your creativity, like here in Minecraft, I mean, there's a limit with what you can create because you have basic tools. And then there's also the choice that you can go ahead and bring in mods to change the textures, add extra dynamics. Um, I see some really fantastic items. I mean, some really fantastic builds in this game, and not just because of the mods and everything else, but because people have the intelligence or the commitment to go out and do the research. And I think that's what it was because when photography came around, people were really upset about it and didn't want it to be there because it took away portrait artists' jobs. But when you think about what people did with photography, what the artists did with photography, um, making it an art form in itself. You have all these different aspects. It's not just open up a shutter and expose film. You got, all these different things to think about, light and exposure rates and things like that. Um, I know very little. I know only surface items of some photography. I think I need a stack. Yeah, that's gonna be good. Let's do a quick check because and every choice you make makes an impact. That's the thing. So, will this short form content be something that can be shared across the platforms? I mean, across the platform, will I be able to see somebody else's um, choices for how they want to um, represent, well, I'm going to say the Predator, because I mean, it is technically a Disney IP. This is terrible. Double bad. There we go. Wow, that wasn't that bad at all. Maybe they took more damage than I thought. Where are the creepers? There's typically 2 creepers waiting in the morning. Wait, nope, that's just an acacia bush. I guess we are clear. So yeah, scoring that unbreaking one bow was pretty damn hot. I'm gonna put the bones over here. Eventually, I'll get a doggo. We'll see what happens. There we go. So, starting with a foundation, just like when you're building, your trading hall or your villager hall, um, start with a decent foundation. Make sure you have enough room, to explore and expand, and don't be afraid to learn something along the way. If you are a, analog painter like I am, um, I took I did my time at my time. I made my explorations in Photoshop and other digital painting tools, and I learned a lot, actually, believe it or not. I learned more about layers and layering, glazing, as it's called in the painting world. Um, I learned more about glazing by using digital tools and exploring things like, layers and opacities and things, um, than I ever really picked up from any formal education. And I have been formally educated as a painter. Um, it's actually a lot of fun. It really is. I do recommend that everybody pick up some kind of analog craft, more so because the analog component of your crafting, of your hobbying, will benefit from the digital, and the digital will benefit from the analog. Yeah, it's a symbiosis. It's kind of like, hey, I want to try out this, kind of cake, but I'm going to start with an instant mix because I don't really want to take the time to, or take the chance of adding the extra variables of not enough sugar or not enough salt kind of stuff. Oh, my friend, what do you want? That's why I want to get these guys into an actual structure, because um, they are propagating in that tiny ass hut, and he is the result. Just pop right out there. Um, so just some thoughts, some idle thoughts for the afternoon. Now to decide, do I want a single floor, or what do I want for the outside wall trim? Huh. We could do stone, or we could do cobble. We could do cobble, stone, and stone brick. That could be a thing. Or I can go completely wild and against the whole structure of it all, and do something else. Like maybe possibly, well, let's take a look at the crafting station. We want blocks. Yeah, we could do that. And I want to be optimized though. I don't want to waste a lot of time. Fences would be good because um, if I did fences, stone fences particularly, that would obscure the vacant edge of the platform, of the base, but it also would prevent mobs from jumping out of the windows, or it would put a distance between mobs and the actual interior. I believe zombies have a 1 block reach, so if I go straight wall, anybody next to it can be attacked, I think fences might be a good choice. I'm gonna have to let's do a small check. Let's see, do I have a shovel? Because I have to clear out some of that temporary stuff now that we have it more or less organized. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have the entrance at this end. So wherever I put the entrance cannot be a fence. And again, after I spent my, what, 5, 6 years doing digital art, um, it was a good way for me to practice a whole lot of things and explore composition. Because I think that's where digital art has a real strong presence, is if you're, again, saving paper, saving uh, canvas time, uh, you can take a photograph and put it into a drawing app, and then reduce the opacity to like about 30% or so, and have this background that you can then literally trace over. So let's see, how does this look if I do this? Am I liking that? Because then I could build this as just a stone wall, but then what it'll do is that it'll have this little gap in here. I don't know how interior wise it might not be so happy. Uh, I want to keep that 10, so I have to think of something to ground. Ah, man, I think we're going to probably end up just going with the straight stone, like all the other times. Just doing the mossy stone for now. That's okay. So I'll put a couple pieces here, and then we'll do pieces here. Build over here because it's actually next to the water. Um, yeah, that'll be okay. And you shouldn't get moss on the north face, but it can happen. You have all this moss rock, and you can only make, you know, fences and stairs out of it and slabs. And it's like, might as well go ahead and just use it up right there. Wow, that was a loud ass music. Didn't expect that. There we go. That'll do for now. And we're hungry again. You know what it means? It means we go randomly exploring. We're gonna leave this behind. Yeah, see, we got that slab here. Well, at least I was able to work out most of that. I mean, use up most of that. Let's see. Grabbing. What do I want? What do I want? This last button. Oh, is it getting dark already? Alright, let's go. Yeah, it's gonna get dark pretty soon. Oh, well, the shovel's on its way out. Who cares? Let's go explore. We'll be here some more. So I'm making the choice. Like choosing the prompts. Ooh. Surprised they haven't shot the skeleton yet. It's killed by a zombie. Good times. Alright, that's about all for now, guys. Let's take a look at the mess I made. Gotta decide on the rooftop. That's really gonna be the thing. I'm gonna take those fences out, though. Whoops. I hate to have just one door in, but it's gonna happen because once they all get inside, I'm I don't know if I'm gonna let them back out. Not at least until I can build a complete defensive perimeter. Like I said, I don't want another Pine Brook, but it seems like that's going to have to be the initial stage here. Well, that's all for now, kids. I'll catch you later. Till next time, be conscious of your choices.